This is the Panasonic PV-GS200. It was released in 2004 and is a consumer camcorder that records on mini DV tapes. Can I put video from this ancient camcorder on YouTube? Let's find out. If you aren't familiar with mini DV, it's a format that was introduced in 1995. Like VHS, it recorded on tape, but that was about the only thing they shared. Mini DV was a lot different than VHS. First, it was smaller than VHS, and second, it recorded video and audio digitally to tape. This is a mini DV tape. I bought this one at Fry's probably around 2010. Even though mini DV tapes are no longer manufactured, you can still buy unopened mini DV tapes from Amazon or eBay. Mini DV was the last widely used tape format before camcorders started recording on hard drives and SD cards. When the Panasonic PV-GS200 was released, it was marketed as a top-of-the-line consumer camcorder. This is probably because it shared several features with some of Panasonic's professional line of video cameras. First was a 3 CCD sensor. Most other consumer camcorders at the time had a single CCD sensor. Cameras with one sensor captured all three primary colors with one sensor. With a 3 CCD sensor, the light is split up and each color is captured by its own sensor. One for red, one for green, and one for blue. This improved the picture quality and color accuracy. In the early 2000s, this was a big deal. Another big deal was the lens. The GS200 had a Leica lens. In 2004, just like today, Leica has a great reputation for quality lenses. As consumer camcorders go in 2004, this really was pretty advanced. I think I bought mine soon after it was released and it replaced my old Sony Hi8 camcorder. So why did I buy it? There were several reasons. First was the 3 CCD sensor. Second was the Leica lens. The small 1/6 of an inch sensor gave the lens a 14 times crop factor, so the lens had a full frame equivalent from 35 all the way up to 350 and an aperture of f1.8. Not bad for a consumer camcorder. Third, and probably the most important reason, was it had a digital output. With Hi8 footage, or VHS for that matter, I had to go through the process of copying the footage to my laptop via a kludge of a video capture card and various cables. The GS200 was different. It had the latest technology, FireWire. This allowed you to transfer your footage digitally to your computer. Digitally. We do that now with every camera and phone, but in 2004, transferring footage digitally was not the norm. Most consumer camcorders recorded in analog, and getting them into a computer was a real pain. FireWire was so convenient. No more external capture cards, and since my 2004 MacBook Pro had FireWire built in, all I needed was a FireWire cable, nothing else. At the time, I was using Final Cut HD, which supported DV tape imports. This made editing so much easier. Now we take for granted the ability to take an SD card out of a camera and copy the footage to a computer. In the early 2000s, you had to go through several steps to get your analog footage into a computer. Importing via FireWire totally improved the workflow, and it also improved the picture quality. After I got this camcorder, I used it a lot. I used it on family vacations, birthday parties, anniversaries, and other events like my daughter's school trips. It was so easy to use, a lot of times I would just pass it over to another person and let them shoot footage as well. I used this camcorder for many years and ended up filling up about 40 mini DV tapes. In the past few months, I have spent some time uploading the footage to a NAS to prevent losing the footage due to tape degradation or when this camcorder finally dies. Okay, in its day, this camcorder was pretty awesome, but how does it stack up today? Well, pretty much everything has improved in 20 plus years, but the biggest improvement is by far the video resolution. For the past 5 to 7 years, I have been filming in 4K. Before that, I filmed in 1080p. When I moved from 1080p to 4K, the resolution went up by 4 times. This was a huge improvement. For comparison, if I had moved up to 4K directly from SD, the increase in resolution would have gone up 27 times. That means there are 27 times more pixels in 4K than SD. That's huge. Rather than just run through specs or show you more graphics comparing the differences, let's fire this camcorder up and look at some actual SD footage. Okay, this is actual footage from the PV-GS200. This actually looks better than the footage I got when I first used the camcorder. The reason? Lighting. When I was starting out in video, I didn't realize how important lighting was getting the best picture out of a camera. I know now that lighting and audio are actually more important than video resolution. My advice to anyone wanting to up their YouTube video game is to get some good video lights and a good microphone. This gives you more bang for your buck than buying the most expensive camera. Probably the first thing you notice is the picture format. Most YouTube videos are shot in widescreen format. The GS200 camera shoots in 4:3. There's nothing wrong with 4:3. All the old TV shows were made in a 4:3 aspect ratio. It's just that we have moved on to other wider formats. Compared to my other cameras, the color isn't as good. Also, there's no picture profiles and definitely no log setting. Even though I am capturing this in as high a quality as possible, you're never going to get a great picture compared to a current 4K camera. Okay, back to 4K. This looks much better. When I was showing the GS200 footage, I had to zoom in a lot to fill the frame. Like I said, SD to 4K is about a 27-time increase in resolution. Let me show you what it looks like if I had just put the SD footage on my 4K timeline. See that little box? That's the true resolution of the camcorder footage. Let's show it a different way. When it's small, it actually looks okay. It's when you move it from 2004 to 2026 and into YouTube alongside other modern cameras, it shows its limitations. Obviously, resolution is its biggest limitation. All right, I don't want to totally beat up on this camcorder. It does have some other good features. For one, it has electronic image stabilization. It's nothing like the IBIS I have on my GH5, but it does a decent job of smoothing out handheld jitters. Let me give you a little comparison of image stabilization from 2004 to about 2017. I have an arm that allows me to hook up two cameras to one mount. I took the GS200 and my other Panasonic camera, my GH5, outside and started walking on a sidewalk. As you can probably tell, the GH5 does work much better to stabilize footage. Honestly, a GH5 in 2026 is still very good at image stabilization. Besides image stabilization, it also has a decent audio stage. I can add an external mic and adjust the level to get decent audio. While it doesn't compare to today's camera preamps, it isn't that bad. Okay, at the beginning of this video, I raved about how much better it was to upload footage from this camcorder into a computer. But is that still the case? Well, that old MacBook Pro with FireWire was retired long ago, and my current M1 MacBook Pro wouldn't recognize the DV camcorder. I think Apple removed the DV codecs as part of the latest Mac OS. I saw a video where you can re-enable the support for DV camcorders, but I didn't end up having to do that because I had a 2018 MacBook Pro and it did recognize the camcorder. After I used QuickTime to export the footage, I moved it into Resolve and I was able to edit it alongside my other camera footage. So what did I learn from this experiment? I learned you can use an older camcorder in your YouTube videos, but there are a few things you need to be aware of. First, this camcorder shoots at 30 frames per second. That's it. No 24 frames or 60 and definitely no 120 frames. To ensure compatibility with my other gear, I had to change everything to 30 FPS. Normally, I shoot at 24 FPS. To keep all the frame rates the same, I had to change the camera, audio recorder, and all my timecode devices to 30 frames per second. Second, I had to change my workflow and use an older laptop for the footage. I shouldn't have been surprised my M1 MacBook Pro didn't work with DV camcorders. Apple is known for abandoning older tech. I'm just glad I held on to my older Intel MacBook Pro. And finally, and maybe the most important thing, don't throw away any of your old Apple dongles. To make this work, I had to hook up 3 adapters together. I had to search in several junk bins to find all the adapters. First, I needed a 4-pin to 9-pin FireWire cable. It's called a FireWire DV to FireWire 800 cable. This is my original cable I used to upload into my old MacBook Pro. Luckily, it was still in the camcorder case. If you need one, you can still get these on Amazon. I also needed a FireWire 800 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter. This was the most difficult one to find since Apple quit making it in 2022. If you can find one, plan on paying a premium price and it'll likely be used. Luckily, in the past, I resisted the urge to throw my adapter away when I got rid of my last FireWire device. I found it by digging in my junk drawer. If I still had my old MacBook Pro from 2014, this would have been the last adapter I needed. Because my 2018 MacBook Pro had USB-C only, I needed one more adapter, a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C to Thunderbolt 2 adapter. Unlike the FireWire 800 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter, this one is still manufactured and is easy to find. This was definitely a kludge, and I had to relearn several steps to make this work. But even with all of this, I had a lot of fun making this video. Dusting off an old camcorder and putting it on the internet was both challenging and fun. Am I going to incorporate it into my workflow and use it in the future? Probably not. The GS200 was a great camcorder in its day, but technology has moved on. It's hard to compete against 4K resolution, S-Log3, and 10-bit color. Having to keep an old laptop just to import content also is a reason to not use it. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for sticking around. If you got some value out of this video, please hit the like button. If you like this type of content, you can also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.